Dive into the heart of Cleveland's business community with the Cleveland Burning Podcast. Join me, Kim Kitchen, owner of Burning River Marketing, and Kirk Tietz, owner of Cleveland Custom Coatings, as we explore the untold stories of local business owners. In this engaging series, we focus on the setbacks, accidents, and unexpected turns that pave the way for ultimate success. So just like the Cuyahoga River ignited change in the city, our podcast showcases how adversity can spark innovation and growth. Hear from passionate entrepreneurs who have braved the flames of failure and emerged stronger and more resilient. Get ready for candid conversations and a behind-the-scenes look at the business landscape in Cleveland. What's up, Kirk?
You're never going to believe I actually took the bus yesterday.
Took the bus?
Yeah, I had to take the bus downtown.
All right.
You know, my mom used to take the bus downtown to work every day. And she used to always tell me, she said, Kirk, there's always one crazy person on every bus. I looked all over. I'm telling you, I couldn't see him.
It was you, dude. Okay, well, welcome to the Cleveland Burning Podcast, where we dive into stories of local professionals who've braved the flames of adversity and emerged stronger than ever. I'm your host, Kim Kitchen.
And I'm your other host, Kirk Tietz. And today we're interviewing Katrina Botimer with Carpet Advantage.
Yep, I get to introduce Katrina, and I don't know that much about Katrina other than I know that she is brave and amazing, and I know that because she replied to one of your LinkedIn posts and said, I'd love to do this, and she was the first person. This is one of the reasons why I actually got mad at Kirk, is because I was like, Kirk, you've got this really nice lady who owns a cleaning company, and she's like trying to get on our podcast, she can't even find it, like you shouldn't be promoting this yet. So Katrina was an early adopter. She wanted to get on the podcast, and she even made us this. For those of you that watch the video, she made us like this really cool burning river. Like it's now our new centerpiece. And so she's also a woman of many talents. And you and your husband have owned Carpet Advantage for 8 years now.
Yes.
Tell us about your business. Yeah.
Okay. It was supposed to be a pizza business, and my husband was in the construction. He did bridge construction, and he started looking at his carpenter's pension, and he started freaking out, and he went online to look for a pizza business.
Okay.
Well, we went to talk about that, and being a cash only business, it didn't make sense, but we knew we wanted to own a business. I've wanted one since I was a kid, playing with the Monopoly money.
All right.
And so the broker said, what do you think about this? And he presented this where the business was already functioning and was already successful, and they took care of vacant apartment cleanings, occupied renewal cleanings, and common areas.
Okay.
And they already had a book of business.
And the equipment, right?
And the equipment,
So, yep.
right. So it all came with, and even we're still in the same shop that we had originally started out at. And my husband, being a carpenter, he says, I can work with anything. Carpet is just another different type of material. So he is able to use his skills, and when it comes to the repairs and the stretches and so forth. And then I'm responsible for the office work and customer relations, and I have very strong repeat customer relationships. I mean, where
That's great.
we might talk 3 times a week. Our customers or email back and forth and
That's
so
awesome.
forth. So our job is to help apartment complexes get their vacants ready for move-in.
Okay.
And only one thing that we pride ourselves on, because we have more,
Yeah.
is that we get it done when we're there. For instance, there's carpet cleaning companies out there who come in and do the carpet clean, notice a repair, and send back another crew to do the repairs.
Oh, okay.
But we want to do it right then and there. And part of the way we do that is we don't focus on quantity, we focus on quality, where we don't overbook our guys. So they don't feel stressed and feel like they have to rush through things. They're supposed to look around, make sure that T-cap is fixed, take care of this pet damage, do a carpet stretch.
So you do all that the same like
One
appointment.
call.
Yeah. Okay.
And people appreciate that because
Super cool.
they
Of
don't
course.
want to have 2 people come back. I mean,
Right.
our property managers are so
love
busy
you on that.
that I just try to make their job as easy as humanly possible.
Yep.
And if you always make it easier for the next guy, it
And that's
works.
how you get repeat business. You
Right.
wouldn't be getting so much repeat business if you weren't doing something right. So
Well-
they obviously love you.
I take it very seriously. I have high
Yeah.
standards for customer service. My standards are minimum to get back to somebody within 4 hours. Like, say I'm here now, after I leave here, I'm going to get back to them. The longest I'll ever go is like 24 hours. But even I'll just tell them I'm working on it.
Vacations at all?
I haven't had it full day off in 8 years.
But I thought you were supposed to be retired.
No.
Like that was his.
Oh, the
his
business
plan.
owner?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I can't help myself. I can't like not answer
Right.
the phone.
That's good.
It drives me crazy, and I have to be careful because sometimes I let it interrupt me, and that causes a problem. But I also feel like our customers are like the absolute most important as well
Yep.
as our employees. So if either our employees call me or our customers, I'm pretty serious about taking
That's
the call.
good.
If I don't take the call, it's usually because I'm on the other line. I don't want to put somebody on
Right.
hold.
And they probably know that. So.
And they do. So, and there sometimes if I haven't, one lady, if I don't get back to her within like 2 hours, she's like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? Are you okay?
Right,
you
right.
always call me back so much quicker." And I'm like, "Good. I'm glad I have that
Yep.
reputation." You know. So I really stick true to those standards, and I think it's working out well.
Good.
That's good. It's always nice to hear about people's success, starting your own business or venturing into entrepreneur business is not easy.
No.
So with that being said, we always try to warn everybody about the topic of our podcast here is about, every successful person goes through challenges, difficulties, train wrecks, something that maybe even almost makes them consider why they're doing what they're doing. Going through those and getting to the other side of them, there's a better version of us on the other side of that hard. Right? Do you mind telling us some of the difficult or a difficult situation you went through?
Sure. I have two in particular, and I'll make them both succinct. One is the day that I was at the doctor and had a doctor come in and tell me that I had breast cancer.
Oh no.
And I ended up, while that was happening, my phone was ringing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm devastated. And I just was in a fog.
Right.
It got worse because they didn't think I was going to have to do chemotherapy at first. And then they ended up doing that. So the long year and a half, I actually found it good to work.
Right. Maybe it was keeping your mind off.
Yes.
Of. Yeah.
And it was, while it was troubling, and sometimes I'd be crying and didn't want to answer the phone, I'd still I'd send an email or something, or I just found a way to make it work. And I think it made me feel a lot stronger to work than to sit there and just mope, and
It makes sense.
when I was going through chemotherapy, there were those blocks of days where you feel like you have the flu for like 5 days. It's horrible. Well, luckily my desk is close to my couch. And when I needed to, I took a break, and then I went back to it. And I was grateful to have my husband as huge support. He went with me to every, all the appointments and stuff. And that's actually made me happy to be a business owner, because if I would have been working for someone else,
For sure.
I would have had a completely different situation. So
Absolutely.
I actually looked at it as a plus in that respect.
Right.
It was just hard to keep my mental acuity, but it was actually a benefit to
Well, and now you must
focus
feel like
on
you
that.
could do anything.
I look back and I'm thinking, if I did that, yeah. I mean,
Right.
I've had a lot of surgeries, orthopedic surgeries in the same time too. So, I think somebody should have take my phone away from me, because I got out of a surgery and thought I'd call a customer, and I was like,
Oh, no.
and then I was like,
So loopy.
what did we talk about? And my husband, he goes, give me your phone. You don't
Yeah.
need to be answering.
Yeah.
But that was definitely made me a stronger person. I definitely. And
Definitely something you can reflect on and say, I've been through worse, right?
oh yeah, I mean, now I feel like if I can do that, I can do
Right.
anything.
Absolutely.
It's a matter of getting this right. Once you get that right, it's much easier
Yeah.
to get through those types of things.
Now, have you guys ever made any mishaps in your business that you had to kind of, I don't know, either pivot or fix? And what was that like?
Yeah, we've had things with customers and that. It's not often, but I have solved those problems with customers. But my most recent, very fresh experience is, it's not even within 24 hours, but as a business owner, I got scammed.
Oh,
I got scammed bad. And I do not know why all of the red flags were not going in my direction.
Did you send money to some South African prince? Because he's been asking
his
me
brother.
for $10,000.
He was the brother of the South African prince.
No, I'll tell you straight up what I did. I know better. I
Mm-hmm.
know better. But I got an email from Norton Norton LifeLock,
Sure.
who I had used in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and they said we did an auto renewal. And I didn't check my bank account. I just panicked for $700. I don't want to pay for something I don't want. I called the number. I went through whatever hoops they wanted me to go through with, and I gave them access to my computer.
Oh, yeah, that's always a big
Which
red
it
flag.
didn't dawn on me until afterwards that that's what I was doing. And then he had me open up my bank accounts to look to see if the refund was in there. And I did. And I don't know what happened. And then all of a sudden I went, something's not right here. So I shut off my Wi-Fi. First I looked up Norton scam.
Yep.
It said shut off your Wi-Fi. I shut it off immediately, and I called this is somebody who's really important to have as a good computer guy.
Mm-hmm. True.
I'm like, George. He goes, get it to me right now, So then I spent the next 2 hours at Huntington Bank
Right.
doing, I have to open up all new accounts,
Of course.
and there's holds
Yeah,
on
there's
everything.
nothing you
And
can
so
do.
now I've created for myself about a good 10 hours or 15 hours worth of
Clean
work
up,
that I
yeah.
didn't have to do. And it was funny because I was thinking about this podcast today, and I thought that's a really perfect example.
It is.
Because
It's a perfect story.
as much as you think you're not gonna it's not gonna happen to you, it does. And I know where I went wrong, and that is I need to slow down.
Yep.
Yes.
It's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so many mistakes happen from rushing things.
Yep.
I was like, I'm just gonna get this done before I go to lunch, and Okay, hold, and then I went, oh. So now I've learned that lesson.
Yeah.
I think
it's
I
a
said
good
in one of the podcasts we've done, there's a lot of times when I see emails or I see things, I might not respond to it for 24 hours. And that's just based on the fact that I want to think over.
Yes.
A lot of times your knee-jerk reaction is not a good one, right?
Right.
It's not, you're not thinking clearly. You're just trying to rush through things. And in my experience, that's when I have my most difficult things. So even sometimes I'll get email and maybe I didn't like the content of the email, or I felt something when I read it, like, ooh, that made me mad. I will close that down and go on and
Do something else.
Yeah, and then until I can actually think that through and go, okay, you know what? Here's the fair response.
Yeah.
Here's what I should do. Here's how I can fix this. And so much to your point,
It's true.
Have you noticed though also with if say it's a contentious email or something, I've noticed that if I just man up and I call the person,
Yep.
it works out so much better because
Yes.
tone and voice and you're just
yes.
And it takes less time, honestly, because, when I try to write an email that is, politically correct and
Yeah.
completely, just like having to reread it and then read it, like, what could they infer here?
Yeah.
It's just easier to call them.
Yeah.
It's
I think
Fair
people
enough.
respect it too.
Yeah.
They respect that you gave them a call. And so, just as I was saying, my husband's not a techie guy. He's always saying, I don't like all this email stuff. I don't know why. Just pick up the phone and call somebody. And sometimes that goes back into my head. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, we're
Yeah.
very good complementary to each other. I'm the people pleaser and he's the hard nose.
Right.
But
Well, that's
not that he
good.
doesn't people please, because he
Sure.
goes out and he does a great job. But I'm like sometimes,
Over.
Yeah.
So we complement each other well. It comes into the middle.
So I'd like to ask the follow-up question, or would you like to ask one?
No, go ahead, Kirk.
How has resilience played a role in your success?
I believe resilience is still doing the work when you feel like you can't.
So,
And that, I believe, is you just have to do the work.
yeah.
And I'm just going to have to do the work to get this checking account stuff back in order. And it
Right.
stinks and nobody wants to do it. But I think it's just knowing that there's a task at hand that needs to be done. And
Power through it.
you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you always, then you can sit back and say, okay, I did a good job today.
Yeah.
And it's just powering through it.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
I find it's difficult to Yeah, I mean, I'll change that. I find it's easy to avoid the things you're not good at or that you don't want to do.
Yes.
You become busy with things you would rather be doing. I actually had a friend not too long ago. I get lots of emails for bid invites and job offers and stuff that are all over the country. Some of them I don't want anything to do with. But if I take a couple of days off, I'll come back. I'll have 150, 200 emails. And then it's overwhelming because I'm not a great tech person, right? I'm not a great computer person. So I kind of glance through it real quick, and then everyone goes, "Well, did you see my email?" And I'm like, "Nope."
It's so funny. I wish I only had 150 emails. I mean, between my like 6 accounts, I probably have like 10,000 emails. People, but unfortunately, people get used to me. I have certain people will text me and say, "Did you see my email?" Because they know that it's just buried. And, then email has their way of, putting things in spam filters or junk, so it's a lot. And it's kind of the same topic, is that if we're always reactive to these emails, then you aren't doing things in a clear state of mind, So
I have a very strict system. I brought it with me, but I have, because I do accounts payable, accounts receivable, schedule, human resource.
you wear all the
right?
hats.
Right. I have recently employed a new technique that is working out very well. I've done this before, but I'm being more strict now. But in the morning, I call it general time. That's like landing and getting ready for the day. Then I work on invoices for an hour, and I will literally set a timer,
Okay.
turn off my email.
So your block time.
I'll do
Good
do
time
not disturb.
blocking,
I'll do not disturb on my phone, except for my employees have like permission, and my husband. And I'll just buckle down, set
idea.
a timer, and get it done. And then I go, okay, now I'm gonna work on accounts payable for 45 minutes, or just
That's excellent
the,
idea.
The fact of focusing, you build momentum, and I think that's the only way I've been able to do everything, is because I don't want to do this, but I have to
Right.
do it. So
Yeah.
I do it. I have to treat myself as an employee.
Yep.
Yes.
Your best. Yeah.
And I have to, like, even I keep track of where I spend my time, and then I evaluate it and say, okay, I was spending too much here or too much there.
And
Tomorrow
then
I need to spend an hour and a half on human resources.
Yep. And then you have a performance review with yourself. And
Yes.
you say, look, you
Yes.
spend too much time on this, and you need to spend more time doing this.
I fired myself about 4 times
I
yesterday.
was actually going to ask you if you have ever fired yourself, because I've considered it a few times myself.
Oh, yes. And then you have to rehire yourself and do all the paperwork over
Yeah,
again.
you're like, listen, if you really want this job, show back up Monday with a little better attitude.
Better attitude. Yeah. Don't get scammed ever again, or else you're good. You're done
Notice
for
your
good.
attitude's been slipping a little
Yeah,
bit.
I know.
We're going to
No,
give
I
you the
mean,
weekend off.
If there is anybody harder on me, I wouldn't know him. But
Right. Yeah. Well, let's end on a positive note.
Yeah.
So, we talked about your scams and in your awesome recovery for cancer. What's going on that's fun and exciting at Carpet Advantage?
we are using now a machine that we just got that is called a super scrubber.
Super scrubber.
Super scrubber.
Okay.
It's about this big of
All right.
a scrubbing with a scrubbing brush, and it's like one that would be used on hard surfaces, but with the brush on it, it pulls up much more dirt.
Okay.
And we have had great success with we have a restaurant that we do, and that
restaurants.
is incredible, the amount of grease and so forth. And so that's been a big hit, and that's been something that I pushed for a couple years, because I just saw it would do a great job. And so we're now in the point where we're going and showing it to customers, like as a demo of,
Okay.
and then a lot of places are not, their budgets aren't allowing for carpet cleaning currently.
Okay.
And so January, we're going to start on some of those, because they said these are current customers that we do vacants at and so forth, but they said January. But that's really exciting, because it just is a powerhouse.
So does it mean that you, without the super scrubber, we're just doing carpet cleaning, but now with the super scrubber, you can do a lot more than just carpets?
We're not doing more than
restaurants?
carpets. We're
Okay.
just want to do carpet the best we can.
Okay.
So the difference between this is the traditional wand. On carpet that doesn't have pad under it, you have to use the traditional wand.
All right.
When we work in the vacant apartments, we use what's called a rotovac, and that has 2 oscillating heads on it. And that is better than the wand cleaning, because it's really scrubbing throughout.
Okay.
But you can't use those on commercial carpet. So that's why we got the super scrubber, because that's designed for carpet
Commercial
without
carpet.
padding under it.
Okay. Okay.
So
That
we
makes
had,
sense.
and our big deal machine is the Rotovac, and we actually have people request that. Like in the past, when Kim and Dave owned the business, they only used it sparingly, and then they would charge more for it and everything. Well, we saw how great of a job it did, so we just do it everywhere now. It's like,
Nice.
so some people are
Love
still
that.
like, oh, and use the Rotovac. I'm like, we do
We
all
do.
the time.
Yeah, always.
I mean, if it does that great of a job, why?
Yeah,
you know?
why not use it? Absolutely. Well, we'll make sure to link. You'll need to give me your links to your website or any way to contact you. So we'll put that in the description on the podcast. So you'll have to let us know if anybody reaches out to you
Okay,
if they're looking for that
sure.
super scrubber.
Sure.
So
yeah.
thank you so much. We love your story.
Absolutely.
And for the presents and our and our centerpiece now.
And thank you so much for the birthday present.
You're welcome.
And for anyone in the audience, today is my birthday, but I do accept gifts all
Belated
year round.
presents. Yeah, that would
All
be
year
great.
round, any day. You can go ahead.
You're very versatile.
Yeah, that's right. He'll take gifts all year.
All year.
So we love your stories about setbacks. That's really one of the things that we're passionate about. I always love Thomas Edison's thing about how he says he's not failed. He's just found 10,000 ways it didn't work. So it sounds like you're well on your way. Although Edison was not dealing with scammers from Norton virus, but so don't forget to tune in for more interviews with local professionals as we continue to explore twists and turns that lead to triumph in the world of business. And if you enjoyed today's episode, and we hope you did, please subscribe
Please subscribe.
and leave us a review to help us reach even more listeners. So until next time, remember, every train wreck can be a stepping stone to something extraordinary. And thanks for joining us on the Cleveland Birding Podcast.
See you next time.
Bye.